UFC 294 is in the books, and Abu Dhabi delivered on a card that we didn't know was going to happen. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the StayWeighedIn YouTube channel. I'm joined by my man Ray. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Not having to do another late fight night, so that's always good. How about yourself?
All good as well. I was just gonna say the sleep hit well this time. The sleep hit well.
Yeah, yeah. What was it? Before 10 p.m., I think everything was
Yeah,
wrapped up.
everything got done. Hey, we
Yeah.
said it, the Dagestan boys, they get the job done. They're here for the paycheck, and that's about it.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. But let's go straight into it, and we'll go into the main event itself. Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Now, originally, this was meant to be Charles versus Islam. For about 10 days out, he pulls out, and Volkanovski comes in. And bam, it was a short-lived fight, one round, a head kick followed by a few shots. Talk to me about the fight in what we saw and how impressed you were with Islam and Volk as well.
Islam had a mission, and he said, after that first fight, you lot are not going to compare me to this guy again. And he made a statement. You saw him, his celebration when he was just like, it reminded me of, remember Cristiano Ronaldo at Real Madrid when they would walk off and they would just be like, yo, calm down. And I think Islam just wanted to put everyone on notice, like, yo, stop playing with my name. Because to be fair, I was saying it before. I think he's been unlucky with fight replacements as well. But obviously, I think some people are calling into question his run up to the title because outside of the Charlie Olive win, he hasn't really had the impressive resume as some other contenders have had. But like I said, a lot of it's not his fault because he was even meant to face Dariush, if I'm correct. And then Dariush pulled out and he had to face Bobby Green, I believe. So he's just been in an unfortunate situation. And I think this was the fight where, because of how the last fight ended, everyone thought, oh, Volk might have a chance. And Islam just said, listen, stop the noise. I'm the best right now. And Charlie Olive's my guy, but Islam, I love the statement that he made that night.
I was going to say, I like Oliveira as well. And I was this isn't to get anything on Volk, but I'm happy that the fight ended the way it did against Volkanovski rather than Charles itself. But talking about Volkanovski, he's had two opportunities now to go for this champ status. And I know this one was on short notice and stuff, but Dana White's not normally that giving. And now obviously he'll most likely move back down to featherweight and stuff. Do you think he'll ever get another opportunity as long as Islam is champion, or has this chapter now closed?
Absolutely not. And it hurts me that he took this fight because I just feel like, and I was saying this beforehand, I felt like you can't face Islam Makhachev on 12 days notice. I'm sorry. Unless you are an up-and-coming fighter, or if it was a case of, Volk didn't have the match they had before and he took it, then fair enough. But this was a case of, you have to know that the stakes are going to be extremely high. And for it to not be in under favorable conditions as well, I just thought it was just like, you shouldn't have taken that fight. Yeah, he just shouldn't have taken it. He should have left one of the other top lightweights to take that fight.
It's like, coming into it, you saw Islam. He was ripped, chiseled. And look, I'll say this, athletes are always more in shape than the common person, but you saw belly fat on Volkanovski. He didn't look like he had, like I said.
I always tell people there's a difference between being in shape and being in fight shape. And I feel like even with Usman as well, he's in shape. Like, you're just training year round, you're ticking over. But training year round is like, you're not as strict with your diet. Your weight management may not be the greatest. It's not that it's terrible, but obviously it's like when you're not in camp, you're not going to be like, I've got to make sure I keep my weight low. It's just like, no, you're just training to train's sake. So as long as you're eating healthy, you're probably going out, you're walking around weight. You're not going to be too overweight. But at the same time, what camp does is get you in fight shape. And fight shape is when you're just ready to go 5-5s, you're ripped, like premium condition. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like with Volk, it kind of showed where he wasn't as in shape. But I can't, also, like you said, 12-day notice, you can't blame him for not being as much in shape. It's still better shape than most people, but when you're facing Islam Makhachev, doing that on 12 days notice.
I was going to say, with the way Islam finished the fight, and also we know him being a wrestler with Habib and stuff, has he added something extra to his repertoire that fighters now will be like, oh, wait a minute, we know what we got normally, but he can also do this, and that's more of a threat now with him.
I think he was always dangerous in regards to striking, but I think this was just more the statement to let people know. I've obviously the last him against Volk and him against Charlie Olives was more grappling, and I think this was the fight where he said, "Yo, let me just remind you, look, I can strike as well," and that's what he done.
And I want to stay with Islam before we touch Volk and then in terms of the pound for pound rankings, then where are we putting Islam here? Are we easy there or thereabouts?
Second to John Jones. I'm sorry, I know John Jones hasn't fought that much and all that blah blah blah. Second to John Jones. As long as John Jones is still active, he's the best pound for pound. Simple as that. There's no argument. And then the rest, the argument is just between the rest of the fighters. So obviously people were arguing it was Volk because he was 145, he challenged 155, and then obviously it didn't go his way, but it was still something. But right now, John Jones is number one. Islam, I feel like he needs to beat more people in his division before. It's kind of like the Shakur Stevenson situation where we know how good you can be, but you know, having fights on paper and having fights in real life, you can't keep on claiming, oh yeah, I can be this great, I can be this great. And we know you've got the talent, but he has to do it first. So
and
yeah.
with Islam, it looks like it'll be either Oliveira or Gaethje fight and winner faces him. Who then for you provides a bigger test for Islam for his next fight?
This is where it gets tricky because I actually want to see the Charlie Olives fight ASAP. The only issue is I also want to see Justin Gaethje ASAP, especially because Justin's older. So I'd actually want Justin to get the fight, but then it's kind of tricky because then that means how long does Oliveira wait? If that, yeah, so if that's the case, how long does Olives wait? So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting. I'd like Justin Gaethje, then Oliveira. I remember Islam tried to say he wants them to face each other. I'm like, no. After the Killer Road that like Charles Oliveira faced killer after killer, I need to see him. So I need to see Islam face Charles and Justin Gaethje.
And then for Volkanovski, back down to where he's probably the dominant man there. How many more fights do you think before he cleans out that division where he looks and says, I want to go one more chance at this at the lightweight division? Or what do you see for Volkanovski? Because he wants to be active with a proper training camp behind him for the next year. So what do you see with Volk?
As long as Islam's there, Volk's not getting that title shot. So unless he wants to go 155, just to go 155, stay at 145. He says he wants to fight. He still wants to fight. He's got a title fight booked in January in Toronto, shout out my second hometown in Toronto for it. And I don't know if he'll get medically cleared. And then obviously the other alternative is Max versus Topuria. And then if Max wins that, which I think he will, then it's going to be Volk versus Max 4. It's such a tricky situation because literally it's like Max beats everyone that's not named Volk.
Volk, exactly.
And what's even scarier is that fourth time he might just get Volk out of there because it's just like rolling the dice on someone. It's kind of like the Pacquiao Marquez thing where it's just like the more chances you get to face that same person, you might just sleep in that fourth fight. Even though I did feel like Max won the second fight. But yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. Volk's probably going to need to rest. I know he doesn't want to, but I don't know if they'll medically clear him to fight. So we'll see.
For me, just for my money, give me Max versus Volk every time because them two just put that. But again, I'm with you. I love Max, but he can't. That's his boogeyman. That's the guy.
Yeah. Although, do you know what? Part of me even said before Topuria got the title shot, I was even thinking I still need Topuria to have one more fight. He's shown he's a high level, but his last fight, I didn't think it was enough to show me he's ready to challenge Volk just yet. I still feel like there's a level that he needs to go up to face Volk. And I feel like him versus Max might be that litmus test to find out whether you. And guess what? A loss against Max might actually be the best thing for him to take that. The same way when Yair Rodriguez lost to Max as well, and then he leveled up and then went to fight for the title. If Topuria loses to Max, he might just level up after this. But yeah, shout out Max Holloway as well, man.
I'm going to throw out one guy. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm guessing they're waiting for him to fight at UFC 300. And we know that's Conor McGregor fighting Chandler. They've not confirmed anything.
Stop.
But you know that in a moneymaker.
Let's not. And do you know what the worst thing is? I saw Chandler. A lot of people know I don't like Chandler as a person. An excellent fighter. Can't say nothing bad about him. Balls to the wall. Great fighter. Him as a person, and I get it, because fighters have to be delusional in some way, because you're not going to get to the top without having some delusion. But man must have said something along the lines of Islam hasn't fought no one that'll put him into a dogfight. And then he tried to imply that he's that guy. And then I thought to myself, hold up. The last dogfight you was in, you lost it to Dustin Poirier after the amount of different fouls and the way you tried to cheat in that fight as well. Shout out my guy Dustin Poirier, that's my guy. And I was so happy Dustin won that fight, because all the dirty tactics that Michael Chandler done in that fight, yeah, I said, I'm so happy that you lost. And then on top of that, to then say that, so wait, Dustin Poirier, who for me is one of the best lightweights ever, and it's not, but unfortunately hasn't got the title. But it's Dustin Poirier you lose to, but it's Islam that you think you're gonna go out there and have a dogfight with, and man, shut the F up.
Islam's holding that belt as long as Islam wants to hold that belt.
I don't. Maybe I think. Do you know what? Maybe Justin Gaethje or Charlie Olives. Let him get. If Islam gets through Justin Gaethje and Charlie Olives, I can't see anyone else in the near future. No other lightweight contenders have shown me that they have the minerals just yet. But we'll see.
Let's just quickly gloss over. I say gloss over, but there was more to talk about probably in this fight. The co-main event, which is Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman. Again, similar situation. Kamaru Usman stepping up to fight on short notice. I'm a bit critical here, because I thought Kamaru Usman might go down the Tyron Woodley phase, where obviously he was going through losses and stuff. But this loss probably gave him more of a victory.
This is definitely a moral victory for Kamaru.
I'll say this about Khamzat. The first round, he dominated. But then the second and third, I'll pose this question to you then, because obviously he looks like he's in line for a title shot now. Does his gas tank go too quickly?
I was saying this yesterday. He's looking funny in the light. He is looking fine. First round, Khamzat, absolute killer. Now, we have to caveat this with saying, apparently, he said he broke or injured his hand in the first round. And I think some people suspected when Kamaru done that last-ditch attempt of getting him off his back when he slammed him to the ground. But the way Kamaru was able to get back into the fight, there's a lot of middleweights that's now looking at Khamzat like, maybe going 5 rounds, you might get dragged into deep water. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, first round, Khamzat is a killer. But Kamaru Usman, part of me is also upset, because I'm just like, damn, he should have gone up to middleweight sooner, because he looked good, he looked solid. And it's kind of like when Robert Whittaker used to be at welterweight, came out to middleweight and had success. The only thing with Kamaru, it hurts more because time's not on his side. And I'm not just speaking about age, but the wear and tear that's been done to that guy's body, I feel like middleweight should be where he competes next. And
that was my next thing. Being that Leon's probably held up now with Colby, and like I said, age and everything in that regards and time. Do you think Kamaru Usman gives middleweight a shot at this moment in time?
I believe he should, only because as well, with Izzy saying he's taking time out, now's the best time to go for that belt. Go middleweight, be more comfortable. You don't have to cut as much. You can even maybe bulk as more. I don't know what that's going to do to his knees, because I know his knees are like infamously bad. So I don't know whether he wants to just have a few more big money fights and then be done. But Kamaru Usman, what an account he put for himself on 11 days' notice. My guy went in there, putting quite the performance, especially third round. He just really went for it, and especially just surviving the first. Because I think that was I was saying that to the people I was watching it with. They were like, "How do you think this is gonna go?" And I said, "I honestly think he's gonna reserve himself from the first round. Second round, I'm not too sure." And I said third round, I called it, and I said that's when he's just gonna go all for it, because obviously you got to manage your gas tank. If you ain't been in training camp, it's gonna be hard. And funnily enough, the competitive nature in him, I saw him say somewhere he wishes he made a 5-round fight, which I think would have been crazy, but you never know. He's an exceptional person.
Let's talk about then Khamzat going forward, because I think, like you said, I think Kamaru Usman got his flowers, not just from, like you said, from yourselves, but just in general, people watching you realize, you know what? He did a good account of himself. But still, with that being said, I still agree that Khamzat won the fight overall.
Yes.
Going forward then, he looks like he's in for a title shot now. Now, we touched on the gas tank element of it. I do think this as well, it's a bit controversial. If his title fight goes more than 2 rounds, I think it becomes a lot more competitive than people think. And I want your thought on this, because Sean went 5 with Izzy. I think he grows into the fight, but depending on how much of a beatdown he takes in the first 7.5 minutes of the fight, really determines the rest of the fight. I want your take on that. Is it more competitive if it goes into the 3rd round or 1.5 rounds?
I think it's more competitive now, seeing how Khamzat's performed against the top guys in the division. So whether it's against Gilbert or whether it's against Kamaru, he's shown that he's a top 5 guy, but then we've also seen he doesn't just steamroll people as people presumed he would. So I think Sean probably looking at that like he takes more heed from the fact that, okay, maybe you're not this killer, but at the same time, if what Khamzat's saying is true, that his hand was injured, you can't go into that fight underestimating him, thinking, oh, well, he's only a 1st round fighter, because then Khamzat, if his hand was injured, then he might just face Strickland in a title fight, and people realize, nah, he's a good gas tank to go other rounds. But Sean he's a rugged guy, and he showed in that Izzy fight that, listen, he's up for it. And I have a tiny bit of sympathy for someone who's not in this equation, but it's still F them at the same time, so I don't care. DDP, Duplessis. If he wasn't such a prick and a dickhead, I would actually feel sorry for him, because he has earned a title shot. If you beat Robert Whittaker, I'm sorry, that should be an automatic title shot. And the fact that they tried to force him to face Izzy on short notice, his body was banged up and bruised, I'm just like, nah. But he's a wanker, so like I said, my sympathy for him is capped, but it'll be interesting. And then obviously Paulo Costa was in the audience as well, so I don't know if they're going to do DDP versus Paulo Costa if Paulo Costa's elbow is recovered, because I don't know if you saw the staph infection. Staph infection is one of the worst
things you can get. I remember one before.
And he's had it operated on it 3 times in a short space. So hopefully, wishing him a speedy recovery. But maybe they make DDP versus Paulo Costa for #1 contender, and then they do Khamzat versus Sean. But I don't know when. But then I think there's an issue with Khamzat with traveling, so I think that also factors in of like how they're gonna do this. So we'll see.
But we are going to just quickly wrap up. But before that, quick word on just what I call the UFC train, because Dana pulled this one out of the bag. I think coming up next, we got Jones and Stipe. So just a quick word on, obviously, like I said, UFC 300 is also the one that people keep talking about as well. This UFC train at this moment in time, pause, looks like it's getting stronger and stronger. I had to throw that in because I was thinking it's getting
it weren't just the UFC straight. It wasn't just the UFC train. You said it's just getting stronger and stronger. I'm
exactly.
like, hey, yo. But go on.
I was just saying, just a word on how Dana's able to pull this out, and he pulls out the shows when it matters the most.
Yeah. Yo, pulling out and training. All right, you know what? Let's get our head out of the bar. But yeah, they're putting on good shows, and listen, man. premium product for a reason. And you see like boxing right now is going through an awkward stage right now where Showtime boxing's obviously come out of boxing, and then everyone's just like, so where's the PBC fighters gonna fight on platform wise? And then they've had this issue where it's like everything's going to streaming. Boxing hasn't got the stars that it used to. Because I've been saying this for a while. After the likes of Canelo, AJ leave, other than Tank, there's no stars in boxing. Or superstars, shall I say.
Yeah.
There's stars in boxing, but actual superstars is only Tank at the moment. Like boxing matches, that'll make you like stop everything. I'd even put Crawford as part of that as well right now in regards to, but like I said, he is also nearly done. He said himself like he's got 2 or 3 more fights, which are just basically big money fights. He's already done double undisputed, and I'm looking to just go off into the sunset. But UFC, listen, man, you may not agree with their politics and how they handle fighters, but boy, it'll be interesting. They've got the premium product right now, and then they've got fighters that are also willing to, take fights on short notice. Hopefully compensated very well, but we'll see.
We'll see. And with that, we are going to wrap up today's episode on StayWeighedIn YouTube channel. As always, guys, drop a like, share, subscribe. Until next time, take care and peace.
Peace.